Hello everyone, welcome back to Tank Wars 2 Electric Boogaloo. I am your host Chromoid, and today we're going to be watching the semifinals of the tournament featuring Mourark and his Knot of Toads against the Attack of the Clones by Nutterchap. Both of these entries have fought their way hard all the way to this point, but from here only one can continue on to the final, although the loser will have a chance to compete against Charden and his team Not Nice for an attempt to come back and fight in the final match as well. But without further ado, let's let both of these get into the fight. 3, 2, 1, go. And right away, we see a Knot of Toads letting off with a volley. Nutterchap's entry obliterating that part of the spawn stick. It's fun to watch. Missiles going everywhere, laser targeting switching back and forth, which is not causing very accurate fire from the missiles, but it's okay. The clones have plenty more where that came from. The big difference between the clones and the toads is that while the toads have a mixture of cram and APS, the clones just have APS and missiles. You hear those loud guns going off as the clones start to back towards their favorite spot, and that is the mountains surrounding this arena. Now, the mountains, as you probably already know from if you've watched previous videos, are safe to climb up until you get to the top. If you get close to the top, you will be forcefully despawned as you accrue 10 points per second that you remain at that altitude. So more forward-thinking competitors have already put in hard limits on their craft, saying don't go above this altitude, and so the craft will automatically either come back down or, shut off their engines, whatever, which supposedly saves them from some grief, but some others haven't, and we've seen some unfortunate disqualifications because of that, including some of Nutterchap's own tanks, although the Knot of Toads do not seem fond of the hills themselves. They like to stand on here in the middle and focus fire. And you'll notice these much larger, wider toads, those are the land cruisers for the Knot of Toads. Those are called spitting toads, and they have APS cannons that I think they fire extremely high penetration kinetic shells. Whereas I'm pretty sure most of the Nutterchap tanks fire a mix of high explosive and frag. As you see from the blasts that are enveloping this one toad. This toad getting beat down to 97.5%. The clones are all relatively healthy. It is worth noting that the clones are already down 87%, but that is largely due to the fact that their spawn stick is made of heavy armor, and the spawn sticks do not count towards the grand total for either entry. And since so much of the clones' hit points were bound up in that spawn stick, they actually are at roughly, oh no, a clone went too high. The clones were at basically 99%. Now they're a bit lower than that, but yes, we were looking at a fairly even match until one of the clones did that, and now is definitely a fight in favor of the toads. That being said, the toads do have their own shortcomings. The toads have a tendency to run out about 2/3 halfway through the match. They run out of fuel. And while that doesn't mean they're out of ammo, it just means that they stop moving. So whatever configuration they stop moving in is pretty much all they have left, which could be good for the clones if the clones are still alive at that point and have ability to shoot back at their targets. With the missiles, they pretty much always have a way to deal damage, but with their height above the ground tends to mean they get stuck. Oh no, this clone is firing through its brethren that got stuck on the hill. It can't budge it, and this one's stuck, and it's just going to keep shooting through its friend there. That's not healthy. That's some pretty powerful guns to be firing through each other, isn't it? But the missiles are starting to do some damage. That one Toad A up there on the top left, is getting whittled down. It's already at 85%, and these missiles do not stop. They just keep pouring in from all the clones, and even with the loss of one clone, you can see that damage is starting to tick up. The toads have pretty good health regeneration, but I don't know if that's going to be enough at this point. Not with that kind of firepower coming in. And then, of course, shells from the clones, when they can actually fire, are not insignificant as well. Another one just ripping through the top of the toad. Doesn't seem to do too much damage to the toad superstructure, though. Oh, man. More missiles missing their target. The toads are now starting to pick apart the clones. And the clones struggling as they have climbed the hills very rapidly, but now find themselves unable to get back off the hills due to their settings and a mixture of their settings and their low clearance, keeping them stuck on the ridges there. We've seen other entries with these large wheels, or just in general higher clearance, doing far better navigating hills, but the clones, they don't do so well, and because of their fixed forward guns, they just aren't able to turn their turrets to handle the problem, so they're really down to just missiles and the occasional shot at anything they can actually get their hands on. This clone finally released the other one. That's good to see. So now they're friends again, hopefully not shooting each other in the back. Ooh, that's a huge hit on that toad, down to 80.6%. Ooh, significant shots now. The clones are finally lining up their shots and not just landing missiles, but cannon shells as well, and they do a lot of damage. I think the missiles at this point, because of the toad's high repair, the missiles pretty much just keep them honest. They make sure that they don't... Oh, never mind. They keep them more than honest. That's a lot of damage. That toad's outer armor has been shredded. It's left with just the heavy armor on the inside that keeps its squishy internals alive. But at this rate, if the clones keep focusing it down... Oh, no. They switched their target. They decided spitting toads were a better target now. Oh, man, it's unfortunate. So many missiles that keep switching as the lasers fidget about. Remember, detection is set to 0, so loss of detection on a vehicle, if it's not sharing detection with other vehicles, can end up rendering it completely inoperable, even if the gun is perfectly fine on it or all the weapon systems are still fine. They still cannot target down their enemy. Why do these keep missing? I'm guessing something to do with the fact that no lasers are targeting it. All these turrets up here have laser targeters that are supposed to activate and keep their opponents lit up so the missiles can focus on them. And that toad's starting to repair back. It was down to 70%. Now you see it slowly climbing back up, 74.4. The clones have finally figured it out. They've retargeted this toad. And now you see the toad's weakness showing up just under 5 minutes to go, and they've all stopped moving. And they will not move again for the rest of this tournament, which means that not only is this one faced out of position and this one faced out of position, in fact, almost all the toads appear to be facing in the wrong direction to hit anything. They can't reposition. They're not going to be able to do anything. They're just going to have to sit there and take it and hope that they can make the best of that one early despawn by a clone climbing too high, which I don't think is a feasible plan against this particular entry. Having this much damage coming out of it, it's really going to come down to who has more damage output. And see the missile; those missiles are headed this way, and then that laser target flicked over here for a second, and now they're racing in this direction. Going to impact the side of that toad. Doing chip damage, not a whole lot, but you have to remember, Nutterchap lost about 15% at the beginning due to that spawn stick despawning. So while it says 76.6, he's actually up to 91. It's not as big of a difference as you think. And yes, it's 15%. I've tested this separately in custom battle. When the spawn stick goes, he's down to 85%. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but I'll just have to change the rules if we do this again, and I do want to do this again. This has been a lot of fun. We'll be doing a different tournament in the interim between this one and the next Tank Wars. I'm going to be doing something with propeller-driven planes and autocannons. But this has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed casting this. And we get another little bit of damage on the spitting toad. The spitting toads probably hoping that the explosives will flip them around so they can actually hit their targets again. Spitting toads are capable of doing some scary damage. They have very high pen APS cannons. But, you know, if you don't have them on target, they're not worth much. I don't see... There's supposed to be another spitting toad. There's one... I think one's over here. Yeah, nope. It's here somewhere. One of these... There's two of them. I think these are both the spitting toads, aren't they? Yeah, both of these are spitting toads. I missed the other one. Well, now they're getting a bit of the business done to them by the clones, but we're down to 2 minutes and 38 seconds. That one despawn by the clones might prove to be their undoing. If they can despawn one of the toads before the time runs out, I think they stand a fair chance because each of the toads cost a fair bit more than the clones do. But yeah, at this rate, I don't think they're going to be doing enough damage. Not chip damage anyway. They really have to force despawn one of these toads. And being stuck like this is not helping. You see this one trying to shoot down. It can't move any closer. It can't get any higher. It's just going to sit here and wish it was had a bit more clearance. Aside from the missiles, it's pretty much combat ineffective. And this one toad is still able to fire back. So I really think, oh man, all those missiles headed straight for the toad, and then they reverted back to killing this thing. I don't know why they're picking this vehicle to attack. But hey, you know, whatever works. Less than 2 minutes to go, though. It really is going to come down to whether or not that final despawn was enough. I don't think they have enough damage output to actually. Oh no! And one of the spitting toads is back online. It was for a second. Yep, it is. It's trying. Keeps knocking itself out of the way. Another few missiles should fix that. Yeah, I don't think they have enough. Oh man, they keep switching. All this retargeting is not helping. They need to focus damage on something. I don't know why they stopped targeting this one tank in the middle. It's weird. This one keeps trying to fire down at this toad, but the missile target, the laser targeter, is focusing over there. It's really bizarre. I don't understand it. You can hear that engine still growling. It's still very much alive, still trying to get there, but I think this is it for Nutterchap. I really don't think they have what it takes to kill off the toads now. They really should have focused this one down, and for some reason they stopped halfway through, and now the missiles have stopped as well. I think the clones have finally run out of ammunition. There's some cannon shots, but again, penned up against these hills, having backed up into them, they can't fire down into that target. They have been combat ineffective for the last few minutes, and with the last half minute wrapping up, the Toads pull out an unlikely win against Nutterchap thanks to one disqualification in the early stages of the match. Wow, what an upset. Both these contestants were very well favored to win. Both of them have, I think, had an equal chance of winning this fight. The luck really was not on the side of Nutterchap. His clones and their design caused them to commit an early suicide, and that has cost him the win. We come down to the last 6 seconds. That last toad repairing itself almost back up to 90%, and this will go in favor of Mourark and his knot of toads. Congratulations, Mourark. You're going on to the finals, and Nutterchap, your clones are going to have to go down to the losers bracket for one last match against Team Not Nice by Charge Harden and their infamous Cramps band to see if you could come back and rematch with Mourark. Thank you both for participating. Thank you all for watching. I have been Chromoid, and I will see you guys in the next one.